Big E's return feud in WWE may have possibly been revealed, and it could involve the Intercontinental Champion Gunther after he retained the Intercontinental Championship last night on SmackDown. Several NXT stars have been pitched for main roster call-ups in the WWE draft. We'll let you know who they are. A bizarre match between Moss and Seth freaking Rollins has been announced for Backlash. Details on why people are so confused by this match suddenly, randomly being announced. The Women's Tag Team Championships were retained last night on SmackDown. A big, undisputed WWE Tag Team title match, of course, is set for next week. Damian Priest taunts Bad Bunny ahead of Bad Bunny's appearance on Raw this coming Monday. Madcap Moss finally may have undergone a name change last night on SmackDown. And just how much money did Clash at the Castle generate for the local Welsh economy? Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about Big E. Maybe, just maybe, we're going to feel the power of positivity once again with Big E making his way back to WWE. According to one report, while Big E doesn't have a return date for WWE action, there is already some exciting news and exciting creative waiting for him. On last night's edition of SmackDown, Xavier Woods put up a valiant effort against Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Woods might have come up short, but that doesn't mean that plans for an ongoing interaction between the New Day and Imperium aren't still in the works. While Big E has recently given an update regarding his recovery, it seems that there is already an incredibly exciting plan in place for when he is healthy enough to return to in-ring action. With the WRKD Wrestling Twitter account writing, quote, "Despite a loss to Gunther on SmackDown, one long-term backstage pitch has seen Xavier Woods and a fully healed Big E and Kofi Kingston feuding with Imperium once the New Day are ready to return. The centerpiece for the feud would be Big E facing Gunther." Big E has recently commented on how his healing journey has progressed since suffering a broken neck during a match in March of 2022. Of course, the New Day trio would also need to wait until they have a returning third member in Kofi Kingston. Kingston suffered an injury on the March 3rd episode of SmackDown that has written him off TV while he recovers. As far as Xavier Woods' reaction from this, he spoke in a WWE Digital exclusive. He shared his thoughts on the aftermath of the loss, and he noted he doesn't know what's next for him. He said, quote, "This was my shot. I hadn't had a shot at the Intercontinental Championship since I'd been here. I got here in 2010. It's 2023. I had one shot at Gunther. I had one shot to become champion, and I failed. And I didn't do it. I have no Kofi here. I have no E here. We're all about the power of positivity, but it's not always easy. I don't know what to do next besides move forward. What is moving forward, I have no idea. But shots like this for me, specifically guys like me, come once in a career apparently, so I don't know if I'll ever get a shot at that again. So yes, Gunther won. Yes, Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion. I am not, so we go to work." So the power of positivity is not that strong at the moment, but maybe, just maybe, when Big E and Kofi Kingston are ready to come back, we can see Imperium versus the New Day. Is that a feud you're interested in seeing? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, the draft is getting closer and closer. It begins next Friday night on SmackDown Live on Fox. We're going to be doing a watch-along and a post-show for both nights of the draft here on the channel, so be sure to join us then. But with the WWE draft right around the corner, Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque vowed that this year's shakeup would be the biggest one yet, with every single superstar eligible to be drafted. A new report suggests some NXT stars may soon receive their official call-up to the main roster. This was something that Michael Cole confirmed on SmackDown last night, saying NXT names were eligible. But according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider Elite, WWE is seeking to elevate some of their NXT superstars to the main roster shows of Raw and SmackDown. Of the talent discussed, 3 of them are former title holders in the company. Ilya Dragunov, a former NXT UK champion, has been pitched to join the SmackDown brand. 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions Pretty Deadly seem to be geared for a potential run on Monday Night Raw. 2 other notable names mentioned were Cameron Grimes and Zoe Stark, whose possible main roster assignments remain unknown as of this recording. Of course, these ideas, as always in pro wrestling, are subject to change. In February, it was reported that Grimes had officially wrapped up his stint in NXT and was poised to be headed to the main roster barring creative plans. Grimes made a cameo on Raw last October as he sought help from Kyle Anderson and Luke Gallows ahead of a 6-man tag team match against the Schism on NXT. Zoe Stark, she's got a little bit of a feel for the main roster as she competed in this year's 2023 Women's Royal Rumble match. The following month, Stark participated in a fatal 4-way match for the SmackDown Women's Championship during a loop of main roster live events. When previously discussing the possibility of getting called up, Stark expressed a mix of excitement and concern as she feared she might get lost in the shuffle of the existing sea of WWE superstars. I'm sure a concern that a lot of the NXT talent have. But who would you like to see called up in the draft? Ilya Dragunov on SmackDown, Pretty Deadly on Raw. Where would Cameron Grimes and Zoe Stark go? And are there any other names you would like to see called up to the main roster in the draft this year? Now, this has come absolutely out of nowhere. Amid several big match announcements for the upcoming WWE Premium Live events, one was announced last night on SmackDown that pretty fairly was called Bizarre. Firstly, on the less bizarre side of things, after being teased earlier on in the show by Zelina Vega in a backstage conversation with Adam Pearce, a SmackDown Women's Championship match was made official for Backlash. Zelina Vega will get her title opportunity against Rhea Ripley in Puerto Rico. That match was made official, and that makes a lot of sense. Of course, Zelina Vega, part of the LWO. I believe she has Puerto Rican heritage as well. It makes a ton of sense. It makes a ton of sense that match was going to happen, and they teased that for the last few weeks. So, okay, that makes sense. Also, a big triple threat match was announced for the United States Championship, as Austin Theory would defend his title against two meaty men with existing beef. Theory defends his title against both Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley at the Premium Live event. Well, that kind of does make sense. Of course, they shot the angle on Raw this past Monday, where Theory was facing Bobby Lashley in a non-title match. There was a no contest and no finish because Bronson Reed attacked Bobby Lashley. Okay, that makes sense. The seeds were planted Monday night on Raw. But finally, another match was announced that truly came out of nowhere. At Backlash, Seth freaking Rollins will face off against the Nigerian giant Moss. Well, both men featured at WrestleMania 39 in matches. Seth Rollins faced off against Logan Paul, and Moss took on Brock Lesnar. There isn't any build to this one yet to explain the match. Seth Rollins even posted a GIF on Twitter of Ace Ventura going, "Alrighty then," seemingly going, "I didn't have any idea about that either." So, Seth Rollins versus Moss, why? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions. Why did they decide to go down this route? Why did they decide to have Seth Rollins versus Moss? Some people are saying it maybe is an influence of Vince McMahon. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about this one because, again, certainly came out of nowhere. Now, there were title matches I mentioned last night on SmackDown. The Intercontinental Championship did not change hand, but neither did the Women's Tag Team Championships. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez successfully defended off a tough challenge from the complaint department, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, to retain the Women's Tag Team Championships. They cheated to do so, with Morgan pouring water on Green while the referee's back was turned, and Rodriguez helping Morgan pin her right after. But it's okay, per Michael Cole, because the heels deserved it. So we don't have new Women's Tag Team Champions on SmackDown last night. Speaking of tag title matches, of course, we knew this one's going to take place next week anyway, but the build to it has continued. A rematch of the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania 39 is set for next week's edition of SmackDown. Of course, this was announced last week on the show, and indeed, we are going to get that big title match next week. And of course, it's also the beginning of the draft too. So you've got the draft, you've got this WrestleMania rematch. They continued to build that last night on SmackDown. You had the main event of Solo Sikoa defeating Matt Riddle. So yes, it certainly is exciting, and some people are speculating with the upcoming Premium Live events in Saudi Arabia that possibly we could get new Undisputed Tag Team Champions and the Usos could win the titles once again. Is that something you can see happening? Could we see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens hold the titles for such a short period of time? How do they even end this feud between the Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? Is it via a draft? Do they get split up? Let me know your thoughts about that. How do they even plan on splitting up the tag titles too? Now, one match that certainly looks like it's going to happen is involving Bad Bunny at Backlash in Puerto Rico. After the opening match of last night's SmackDown, Damian Priest had a message for international superstar Bad Bunny. In the opening bout of the night on SmackDown, members of the Judgment Day took on members of the LWO, with Damian Priest and Finn Balor taking on Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar in a big tag team battle to kick off the night. There were certainly several thrilling moves, including a thunderous hot tag to Mysterio, who came in and ran wild on Balor, much to the delight of the crowd. However, the delight wasn't set to last terribly long, as in the final third of the match, it seemed as though the LWO had the match won, with Mysterio hitting a 619 on Balor into a big top rope splash from Escobar. The latter went for the pin, but was dismayed to find out that Priest was actually the legal man. With Priest grabbing Escobar and hitting a big chokeslam, he picked up the victory and a microphone, taunting Bad Bunny a bit ahead of his appearance on this coming week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Priest and Balor are set to see the Backlash host very soon. Priest told Bad Bunny that he really hopes Monday's appearance goes better for him than the last time they saw each other. Of course, as you may recall, Priest put Bad Bunny through the announcers table on a recent episode of Monday Night Raw, that being the Raw after WrestleMania. Now, there is some speculation that maybe we see Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny at Backlash. That's certainly a possibility. As far as this ongoing issue between Rey Mysterio and the Judgment Day, that's not going anywhere clearly anytime soon. In fact, this coming Monday, Rey Mysterio will look to settle the score with Damian Priest at the April 24 episode of Raw from Chicago, Illinois. On the night that will also see Bad Bunny return to Raw, Bunny's friend Rey Mysterio will try to get a measure of revenge on Damian Priest, Bunny's former friend turned adversary. This match was announced during a commercial break amid the April 21st, last night's episode of SmackDown. In addition to the tension stemming from the attack on Bad Bunny, there is months worth of pent-up frustration within Rey Mysterio, as Priest and the other members of the Judgment Day have corrupted Rey's son Dominic. So indeed, we are going to be getting Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest in addition to Bad Bunny returning on Raw. They're the two things that have been announced so far for Monday's episode on USA Network. And finally, Madcap may be no more. It appears that a WWE superstar, a SmackDown star, may be undergoing a name change to coincide with an upcoming heel turn. During last night's episode of SmackDown, while cutting a promo to kick off the feud with Shinsuke Nakamura, Karrion Kross outlined some of the other names he's feuded with in recent months. One of those was Madcap Moss, but interestingly, Kross specifically referred to him as Riddick Moss. Moss's real-life and on-screen girlfriend Emma has been referring to him as Riddick in TV in recent weeks too. Riddick Moss was, of course, his name in NXT, and for a brief period of time, it was when he was actually... This is what's strange about Madcap or Riddick Moss, is he was on the main roster for a brief period of time. He was with Mojo Rawley at the end of sort of 2019 into 2020. In fact, he was a former 24/7 champion. He defeated Ricochet 24 hours after Ricochet got defeated by Brock Lesnar. So it was that was his name previously, but then when he came back to the main roster in 2021, he was Madcap Moss, and he was alongside Happy Corbin. Moss and Corbin separated a year ago, with Moss turning babyface, but he's kept the Madcap name ever since. It might not be a big deal, and maybe they're just acknowledging that we're not supposed to think Madcap is his real name. But if they're going to change it, the timing would make a lot of sense right now. That's because the storyline right now is Emma trying to get Moss to stop listening to the fans and listen to her instead, which would in effect turn him heel. With a heel turn would come a chance to reset again and completely distance Moss from his time as the comedy stooge of the silly Madcap name. So everything lines up for it to be a logical change. So maybe we're getting back to Riddick Moss and a heel version of Riddick Moss. Finally, Clash at the Castle was a monumental success for WWE last year, as they had their first big Stadium UK show since SummerSlam, way back when with Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog. And the Welsh Government has revealed how much money WWE Clash at the Castle 2022 generated for their economy. In September 2022, WWE brought their first major event to the UK since SummerSlam 1992, with Clash at the Castle from the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. 62,296 fans packed the stadium for the historic show. Per the BBC, the Welsh Government revealed that WWE Clash at the Castle 2022 generated £21.8 million for the Welsh economy. Now, for all of you that watch this in America, I know there are quite a few of you, that is roughly $27.12 million in the United States. In the article documenting this, Welsh Rugby Union interim CEO Nigel Walker said, quote, "Cardiff stepped up to the challenge. Clash at the Castle had a global audience of millions, with all eyes on the Principality Stadium. We showcase what a magnificent venue we have here in Cardiff." Meanwhile, Wales's Economy Minister Vaughan Gethering added, quote, "In addition to the direct economic impact the event delivered here in Wales, it provided us with a huge boost to our profile internationally. This included opportunities to showcase Wales's vibrant language and culture through bespoke content creation shared globally on WWE social media channels. WWE Clash at the Castle, of course, was headlined by Roman Reigns defeating Drew McIntyre to retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, and also featured Gunther defeating Sheamus to retain the Intercontinental Championship in an absolutely match of the year worthy encounter that led to, I guess that was kind of the precursor to the WrestleMania Triple Threat match, but actually they had a match on SmackDown as well a few weeks later. That was a rematch, but wasn't anywhere near as good. It was a fantastic event, and clearly WWE was very happy, and of course that's why this year Money in the Bank, one of WWE's biggest premium live events, is now taking place in London at the O2 Arena as well. So certainly big stuff happening for WWE in the United Kingdom. But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.